Hey everyone, and happy holidays from the product division. My name is David DeSanto, and I'll be your host today on this live stream about our kickoff of 15.8. I am actually joined today by some of the amazing members of our awesome product team. They are, in the order they will be presenting, Darren Eastman, Principal Product Manager within the Verify stage, will provide our Ops section updates. Josh Lambert, Director of Product, will be providing our updates for enablement. Sarah Waldner, Group Product Manager for the Create stage, will be providing our dev-related updates. Hillary Benson, Director of Product, will be providing our updates regarding SEC. And lastly, Tara McCaslin, Group Product Manager for Data Science, will bring us home with data science section updates. We are focused on delivering value iteratively here at GitLab with a focus on our fiscal year 2023 product investment themes. They are GitLab hosted first. Note that that does not mean GitLab hosted only. GitLab.com is the largest known self-managed instance, and we know if we can make it scale for our customers, it'll scale for all of you. Our second theme is improved key workflow usability. This theme is focused on improving the workflows that are most critical to our users. We know that if we can improve learnability, we can drive multi-stage adoption, which makes GitLab more valuable to them. And our final theme is extend our lead in CI/CD. DevOps doesn't end until applications are deployed into production, and we want to make sure that's as seamless and frictionless as possible. So before I hand it over to Darren, I do have a short public service announcement, and I'll say you hear this every time. So let's get it done. So on this live stream, we will be talking about our product roadmap. That includes upcoming features and functionality. It's important to know that everything presented is for informational purposes only. Please do not rely on this for planning or purchasing decisions. We plan very ambitiously here at GitLab, so all the details are subject to change. The timing of any products, features, or functionality remains the sole discretion of GitLab. Okay, so now that I have that out of the way and wish you all happy holidays, let's hand it over to Darren to kick things off. Over to you, Darren.
Hey, thanks a bunch, David. So what we think, when we at GitLab think about key workflow usability, and we generally think about the user experience for workflows that span the entire lifecycle of ongoing software development, delivery, and consumption. And so for 15.8, there are a few key features that deliver enhanced workflow usability across the ops section. The first I want to draw your attention to is in the monitor stage, where Senior Product Manager Alana Bellucci and the entire product development team are doing very exciting work. A critical goal for 15.8 is a production-ready Slack app for incident management. This feature set is part of a broader vision to enable incident management collaboration with GitLab, and when released, will allow users to add a specific Slack channel to receive incident notifications from GitLab. This enhances the feature set we have today, where users notified of an incident or the issue. Another key feature is bidirectional Slack communication. So let me flip over to that screen. And in this screenshot, you can see that the user is entering or is able to enter a / command in the GitLab comment field. And the next screenshot I'm going to pop over here too in a second, you'll see an example of that of a comment sent to Slack from GitLab. So we're super excited to see that bidirectional / command feature set in GitLab in 15.8. A quick call out from the monitor team. In the monitor 15.8 planning issue, just want to draw your attention to that really fast. The monitor team has added a list of issues that are great candidates for community contributions. If you would like to participate and contribute to these feature sets, then check out the list of issues in the 15.8 monitor planning issue. In package, led by Principal Product Manager Tim Rizzi, the focus is a feature that enables users to use pipelines to import NPM packages from Artifactory. And this is part of our long-term goal to make the import of packages from other repositories easy within GitLab. Super easy and efficient. It's really part of our key strategy around, again, improving key workflow usability. For release, led by PM Chris Spillane, the team is working on improving the release workflow by adding a success alert when users have created an issue. So wrapping up that team of improved key workflow usability, I want to transition now to talking a bit about extending our lead in CI/CD. So there are many facets that are critical to our FY23 goal of extending CI/CD leadership. A vital component of this strategy has been the work of the configure team led by Victor Nagy, Principal Product Manager. And I'm pleased to highlight the ongoing innovative work by that team in 15.8 with a feature that adds front-end access in GitLab to the Kubernetes API via the Kubernetes Agent Service or KAS. When released, that feature will enable the visualization of Kubernetes environments on the environments page. So super interested to see that feature happen. That's really exciting. From pipeline authoring, Dovko Kucevic, Senior Product Manager, and the product development team continue to enhance the security of CI/CD by enabling users to limit which jobs in a pipeline a configured JWT token can access. And finally, the pipeline execution team, led by James Heiberg, Principal Product Manager, is adding the following feature, which is front-end changes that enable users to specify whether a project can be accessed, and let me step back over to this one, can be accessed with a CI/CD job token. This feature and related work plan and feature iterations will enhance the security of GitLab CI/CD pipelines. Staying with the CI/CD leadership team, Justin Ellis over in Pipeline Insights, they're working on a feature enhancement that will provide a total size of the artifacts for a project. Wrapping up our extension in CI/CD leadership finally is the work on the runner team plan in 15.8. In 15.8, the runner team is planning, and specifically in the runner fleet category, is planning to add the ability for users to see estimated wait times for instance runners. And this will be the calculated median wait time for every 5 minutes available directly in the UI. So finally, the MVC that provides better visibility into queue capabilities will be available in GitLab in the 15.8 release. And finally, the long-awaited next runner auto-scaling architecture will be available with the AWS plugin for auto-scaling GitLab runners on AWS in 15.8. With that, that's it for the ops section 15.8, and I want to hand it over now to Josh Lambert to cover enablement.
Thanks, Darren. I'm really excited for the new runner auto-scaling on AWS. I'll need to dive in there and learn some more details. I'm excited. But with that, as Darren mentioned, let's jump on over to enablement and talk about what we are working on. And we are overall continuing some of the larger projects that we have been working on in the past. So this might seem a little bit like you've heard it before, but we are continuing to drive these forward, and they are larger projects. We are working on a number of other things as well, but please do check out the product planning issues and the kickoff videos for more details on those. As always, we'll get started here with GitLab hosted first and the distribution group. And they are continuing the effort to shift all of the Rails passwords that are stored in GitLab, the configuration file, over into more encrypted handling and how we handle the Rails code base. So this will shift those out of the configuration file to overall kind of clean up and align with best security practices. They are also working to add multiple architecture support for our cloud-native container images. This is primarily to support ARM builds, which tend to have a higher performance per dollar ratio. So a lot of folks are interested in leveraging that. And as part of this, we're also moving away from the classic legacy Docker build over into Docker BuildX or BuildKit, which has a number of benefits as well. So we're taking the opportunity to improve how we're building our images along with this. Next up, well, we are continuing to move on with the self-service framework, and in particular projects and wikis. We are working to add some backend support for some UI-driven queries that we don't have support for just yet. So those will get added to the framework. And then we're also working on a couple of improvements that are blocking both projects wikis and also design repositories around a couple of race conditions. And the great benefit of this is that it will also similarly benefit all other content types with the framework. So we're seeing the benefits here of that common framework across all of our data types. Moving more towards a bit on the key workflow usability side of things and performance as well, we are working to allow Giddily to better push back on traffic surges. So in the case that our Giddily servers do see a flood of traffic, for example, we are working to better improve how we handle this and respond to these surges to make sure we are resilient in the face of them. We are also working to improve the performance of forking workflows. So we have customers who really like forking workflows, and we want to make sure that is great for them. And so we're working to improve that. But also as a benefit, right now the current implementation is pretty in the details and inefficient. So we'll be working to clean up some of that complexity as well, which would be great. We are also wrapping up, actually, we're getting close to the effort to allow us to better collect memory statistics on our web fleet. This will also better debug memory challenges that we're having. However, it's not a very cheap operation to perform when we run this. And so now that we have this tool available, we want to make sure we can actually controllably select what nodes it runs on. So for example, we can pick just the canaries on GitLab.com to reduce the performance impact across all of our web fleet. And wrapping up our key workflow usability here is we are working to add user search to the global search platform. We've already had the backend support and the indexing available in Elasticsearch. And so now we are working on the front end. And the great news about this is that we can then use this new user index to power a large number of workflows. We will, of course, work to add support in the front end for being able to filter on and search users, right? So when you scroll up here and search them, you'll find them. But also we can use this to power other workflows like search autocomplete, which is heavily used across all of our functionality in GitLab. Similarly, on the code navigation front, we are working to add support for filtering by programming language. We already have the left sidebar now available, which is fantastic. And we can now go ahead and extend that to allow support for filtering by language once you have the code selection available here. So some proof points also of the improved usability of the design kind of information architecture we have of our new search page and how we can further extend that to build better filtering experiences for all of our users. And lastly, in the maintenance side, to take us home here for enablement, we are continuing our effort to support Ruby version 3.0. This is so that we can make sure we are off Ruby 2.7 before it goes end of support or end of maintenance early next year. And we are on track to do that. And we now have green pipelines. And we are continuing also our support on batch-to-backup migrations. The goal here is to better support upgrade scenarios when we have multiple versions being jumped at one point in time, so we can improve how we handle batch migrations to reduce the overall time it takes for those to complete before you can bring your service back up again. And this is required only when you actually jump multiple versions without the support that comes along with kind of a zero downtime issue that we have available for that kind of more seamless operation one by one. But that's it for enablement and our exciting features. I'll pass it over to Sarah to take us through dev.
Thank you so much, Josh. Okay, I'll be covering the dev section highlights for the 15.8 milestone. We're going to get started with the auth group and the manage stage. Our first improvement here supports the product investment theme of GitLab hosted first. In order to create an enterprise user, a user must first verify their domain. However, the current process today requires a user to go through the Pages service setup wizard, whether or not they plan on using that service in conjunction. This improvement provides an option to skip that step when verifying a domain to streamline that workflow. Moving on to the theme of key workflow usability, most of the improvements from the dev section supports this product investment theme. Our Manage Workspace team will be reducing friction in to-dos regarding access requests specifically. Today, when someone raises an access request for a project, it will appear in the to-do list of the project or group owner. As groups and projects can have multiple owners, the request appears in multiple to-do lists. This issue adds functionality to automatically delete the to-do item from other lists in case it has already been actioned by another owner. Onto the plan stage. As a continuation of improving cross-functional workflows, previously we enabled epics to house issues from other group domains. This improvement will allow you to house child epics within that parent epic, also from other group domains. I'm personally very excited about this specific improvement. Additionally, from the product planning group, they will be working on streamlining permissions for the ability to create relations between epics and other entities. Today, we require the reporter role to complete this action. However, since guest users can already see all data related to epics, it was determined that this task should also be possible for guests. Our project management group will be making iterative improvements to tasks, a highly requested feature that we released in the last few milestones. Specifically in 15.8, they'll be enabling system notes on tasks such that collaborating parties can view an activity log for those tasks. We can get a sneak peek at what that's going to look like in the mockup here. The second improvement that we'll see for tasks is the addition of discussions and threads. This will allow collaborating parties to communicate asynchronously on items they need to get done. This is going to look very similar to the same discussion and threads that we see on issues and epics. Oh, give me a second, get to the next one. All right. Moving on to the create stage. The source code group has 3 key workflow improvements, all highly requested features. Kicking off with forking workflows. Today, to keep your fork up to date, you need to merge contents from the upstream. And today that can only be done via the command line. This causes context switching, and the process is manual and time consuming. This improvement streamlines that by enabling developers to sync their forks branch with the upstream from the UI directly. Second, we will see a better display of tags in the commits list view. Identifying tagged commits helps to locate important events in a project, which can be very busy. Today, it's currently not possible to see tags in the list view, and we will be enabling this in 15.8, which will look like this. And last improvement from the source code group. They will be working on adding an option to specify more than one user to be required for approvals. Today, GitLab considers a code owner role satisfied if one user who was approved is on that role. This will enable multiple code owner approvals, which can be configured in the file. The foundations group will be working on improving UX consistency through the multiple views of GitLab. You may have noticed in some views, you don't have a left-hand sidebar. You can see this on your activity page, within to-dos or snippets as another example. Not having a left-hand sidebar on those pages creates a really inconsistent experience within GitLab. We will be adding a Your Work sidebar to add consistency and a dedicated place on our navigation for the things that you are working on. Next, from the manage stage and the import group, they will continue to make progress on the GitHub importer. Specifically, they will be working on importing GitHub rules for protected branches such that they operate the exact same way in GitLab. And last, from the plan stage, in 15.8, the integrations group will be completing work for the Slack application integration. They'll be making updates to the app home, the Slack landing page, and the GitLab landing page. These are the final touches in preparation for releasing our consolidated Slack application. And last but not least, coming from our optimized group in the manage stage, in support of the product investment theme, extend our lead in CI/CD, we are opening a beta program to test and provide feedback on the new executive dashboard, aka the DevOps metrics comparison. As part of the program, we'll be testing how users are tracking DORA metrics improvements, VSA flow lead time cycle time improvements, issues and deploy metrics, and comparing performance between groups or projects. That's it in the dev section, and I'm going to hand it off to Hillary to take it away with the secure section.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. Let me just get set up here. All right, so the sec section is again focused on our investment theme to improve key workflow usability of this milestone. So we're working on a variety of smaller improvements, including a continued large refactor in our threat insights group that will unblock a lot of high interest vulnerability management features. We're also working on stability and reliability improvements to our security policy capabilities, and then also some usability improvements to our browser-based DAS features. We also have a handful of larger feature projects in flight this milestone as well. So in composition analysis, we'll continue work on an ongoing project to replace the underlying technology behind our license compliance functionality. That'll take at least a few more milestones to complete, but when it ships, it will deliver multiple benefits, including saving users on execution time and pipeline minutes, because this will produce license scanning results using the same analyzer as our dependency scanning features use, as opposed to the separate analyzer that it uses today. This work also sets the stage from an architectural standpoint to deliver on a number of other important feature improvements in both license compliance and dependency scanning. The security policies team will be working on license approval license approval policies this milestone. So these policies will offer similar benefits for our license issues as our security policies do for security issues. So that includes things like separation of duties so that compliance teams can set license policies that can't be changed by development teams, as well as the ability to require multi-step approvals that can ensure license policies aren't changed without second level approval if second level approval is desired. The static analysis team has two pretty significant improvements to our SaaS capabilities on deck for 15.8. First, they'll be looking to ship a project that I first mentioned last month that will make it easier for us to provide higher quality security findings. So among other things, this project will allow us to, for instance, drop noisy rules from our analyzers and then clearly mark any findings that we automatically resolve as a result of dropping that rule, so that the user understands why they no longer see those findings as active problems in GitLab. And then second, they'll be extending coverage of our proprietary SAST analyzer to identify and eliminate false positives in Go. So we've been using this proprietary technology to eliminate false positives in Ruby for some time, and we're continuing to roll that out to additional languages. So we're excited to see Go supported this milestone. Finally, the static analysis team will be working this milestone on an important update to our secret detection capabilities on gitlab.com. This is a pretty big one. We're introducing functionality that will automatically revoke GitLab personal access tokens if we detect that a token has been leaked in a public GitLab project. So prior to release of this feature, we'll be publishing a blog post that outlines all of the details about how it works, but I'll highlight a couple of the details here. So first, this applies only to public projects on gitlab.com. Private projects are not affected. Second, the project must have GitLab secret detection enabled in order to get this protection. And then third, in order for a personal access token to be revoked, it must be committed to the default branch of the public repository. So MRs and other non-default branches will not trigger that revocation. And then when a personal access token is revoked, the user to whom that token belongs will receive an email that will inform them of why the token was revoked. And then they would need to go and create a new personal access token at that point. So again, prior to rolling this out, we'll be publishing a blog that will fully outline all of the details. So please stay tuned for that. And with that, I will turn it over to Taylor to take us home with what's coming up for the data science section.
Awesome. Thanks, Hillary. Hi, everyone. My name is Taylor McCaslin. I'm a group product manager for our data science section. And today I'm going to take you through some of the highlights for our two stages, anti-abuse and the model ops stage. So to start, I'm going to start with our anti-abuse group, which is focused on helping protect GitLab instances. Today, there is actually a button to report abusive behavior like comments or other types of issues. However, that kind of disappears into the system. There's no real UI to review those things. Initially, we're building a report list and a detailed view list for our internal teams at GitLab to review and have details about these types of abusive reports, but in the future, we're going to expand this to our customers as well who manage GitLab instances. So the first I want to show you is a reports list for the abuse reports. So very simple list of all of the reports. This also factors in some of the additional details that we released last release for categorizing the type of abuse, if it's spam comments, if it's abusive, malicious behavior, if it's crypto mining, et cetera. So you can see some of those details in this new list. You can see there's a status associated with these spam reports as well. And then we're also working on a new detailed view list for you to look at the actual content of those abuse reports. So this includes the users that were abusive, any verification features that we have, where they're logging in from, actually the content that's being reported. And all of this is being tracked so that we can keep track of all of those abusive comments. So this is really focused on helping improve the stability and the quality of interactions on GitLab. And like I said, this is internal initially, but we'll be rolling this out to self-managed customers in the future as well. Now moving to our model ops stage, which is focused on enabling data science use cases across GitLab. We're in the process of rolling out our NVC for a package registry used as a model registry. So basically allowing you to track versions of machine learning models within GitLab's package registry. We actually have a working MVC of this now. We'll be rolling this out. So you can see here the type equals model. So we're treating packages just as a new model type. We're going to be adding many, many features to this in the future, including showing and displaying metadata, allowing you to deploy versions of models to Kubernetes clusters. So this is just the beginning, but we're going to continue rolling out this MVC of the package registry used as a model registry. And then finally, we're also moving to store more telemetry data for the usage of suggested reviewers. This is GitLab's first ML-powered feature. What this will allow us to do is basically track how users are either using or not using the suggestions that suggested reviewer is making so that we can improve the machine learning model. This lays the foundation for us to build retraining into this model so that if you don't use the suggestions that are provided initially, we can learn from that and make better suggestions in the future. So this is laying the groundwork for that. And with that, that completes the data science overview, and I'll hand it back to David to review everything.
Thanks, Taylor, and thank you to all the presenters. This was another great release kickoff call. There's so many great things that are planned for 15.8. I'm just going to highlight a couple of them. For GitLab hosted first, we talked about making GitLab more resilient and resistant to traffic surges, being able to skip the pages setup when you're verifying a domain, and performance improvement to forking, which is also another great thing. For improved key workflow usability, adding search filtering by programming language, being able to have child issues off of epics from different groups going across hierarchy, improved user experience from removing noisy roles as part of the SEC update, license approval policies, so continuing to build out what we can do from an inheritance standpoint. And then finally, this one I think is near and dear to my heart, the ability to see activity and system nodes on work items. And Sarah talked about that on tasks. And of course, as they continue to roll out work items, I'm sure that'll show up on all the other ones as well. And finally, with extended latent CI/CD, the exec dashboards, oh my gosh, they're going to be in a beta format. Like, that is incredible. It's a great effort there. I hope everyone enjoys that when that releases. We're looking to improve front-end access to Kubernetes APIs, and being able to have better visibility and an interface for inbound CI job tokens. Lots more was covered. I gave you a quick rundown. Please check out the release kickoff page to see the fullest of items we went over today. Please comment and like issues that you want to see prioritized in the future. As an example of things I'm excited about, I think you can tell, very excited about improvements to usability. It's like the number one thing I think we're doing a really good job focusing on and improving on. Again, only able to touch on a couple. Please check that out. Thank you all for watching this release kickoff, whether it was live or you're watching the recording. Everyone have a safe and happy holiday season. May you all do something like this as you go to your parties. Make sure to be festive. My hat blinks, you can't see it. I'm a little disappointed in that, but everyone,